At this point, I think it's time for us to have a real conversation about Kawhi Leonard. Everybody knows Kawhi is my favorite player. Been that if you've been on this channel, which I appreciate you coming on this channel, leaving any comments. I hope you continuously do so. I appreciate all your comments and all your feedback. It's very, very highly appreciated. And I can't express to you how much I do appreciate it. But, Kawhi is my favorite player. And, I'll be honest about everything in my assessment. And, what I'm seeing right now is the Clippers are not really utilizing Kawhi Leonard the way they should be. Now that James Harden is there, it's almost like they're making him the focal point of the offense. And, Kawhi and then PG at times, looks a little iffy as well, because PG had about 3 or 4 games here there where he was scoring like under 10, 12 points. And he just looked like he was confused. He looked, I know he didn't look right. Kawhi doesn't look right. I mean, he had a game or two. Kawhi had a couple games this season where he looked pretty good, but that was before James Harden got there. And I think he had one game when James Harden got there with 26 or 28 points, which that was a good game. But, it's no consistency, seem like with the team. You know what I'm saying? The team just looks inconsistent. And when you have inconsistency, that's not good. And then another thing, Kawhi, it looks like he's kind of starting off slow this season. And that's really due to the fact that, of course, he had the knee injury. But people got to realize, if he's starting off kind of slow this season, it's only really also, because he hasn't played 10 games straight in forever. The last time I think Kawhi played 10 straight games, I think he was on the San Antonio Spurs. So, I mean, his body got to actually get used to or back used to playing every single game and not missing a beat. He has to get used to that. So, I mean, we have to give him time, to get used to get his body back used to playing every single game, because with the load management that was going on, that kind of, took away from him playing every game, of course, and it allowed him to rest a lot more. Where now is if he's going, all gas, no brakes, just playing every single game, there's going to be nights where, he can look great every single night because Kawhi is that good. Kawhi is still a great player. I don't care what nobody tells you. He's still a great player. He's still the best player on that team, because when you look at Paul George could be the best player at times, but he can't be the best player most of the time because he takes a lot of bad shots. They're not high percentage shots. They're not high efficiency type shots. And they're shots that are good when he's making them, but they're shots that are piss poor when he's missing them. And it really hurts the team's chances of going forward and winning, big games and big moments and stuff like that. Not unless they have Kawhi Leonard playing at the level that he's supposed to be playing at. And I know that he will. And there's no problem there. But the only problem is, like I said, we got to be patient with Kawhi to a degree, because he hasn't played every single game in a season in a long time. And his body really isn't used to that. So, I mean, I think his body will get used to it the more he plays. Hopefully he stays healthy along with PG, since they're both injury prone. But hopefully Kawhi stays healthy, because like I said before, I don't give a damn what this team does. I don't give a damn who they get. I don't give a damn about James Harden. None of them on the team. None of those 3 guys, Harden, Westbrook, or Paul George, none of them have the main thing in common with Kawhi Leonard, and that's championship. And he already has that. So if you want to win a championship, you got to run your offense through Kawhi. Kawhi has got to be effective. He can't be one of those players just standing in the corner waiting for Harden to dribble, step back 3 and all this other stuff. And then you don't need Russell Westbrook standing over there in the corner, on the opposite corner, waiting to catch and shoot, because that's not his game. That's not James Harden's game. That's not really none of their game. So, I mean, it's like, you got to find ways to, put them in position to be at their best. And, I understand that, Ty Lue is trying to figure this out, but he's going to have to figure it out a whole hell of a lot quicker. You're getting paid millions of dollars, bro. You got to put this team together. It can't be a situation where we're looking at the Clippers and we're wondering why certain players aren't getting what they're supposed to, or, living up to their expectation just because you added James Harden. James Harden's a piece, supposed to be a piece to the puzzle. He's not supposed to be the puzzle. And the fact that the organization is cool with, or Lawrence Frank and all them is cool with him saying that he's the system and all his other crap, that's where the Clippers' downfall is right there. James Harden ain't no system. He's a system breaker. He will break the system. And that's exactly what I think he's doing, so far with the Clippers, because, and it's not really all his fault to a degree, because, Lawrence Frank and them brought him there. They didn't have to go through with the trade. They could have left him where he was. They could have left the Clippers the way they were. And him coming there just breaks their chemistry, because they lost so much depth in the defensive area with all the wings and lengthy defenders that they had and knockdown shooters. They lost so much, that which made them unique. When they lost, Mook, when they lost Rocco, when they lost Nico, when they lost them, you lost players that really give you a different outlook as a team. They those defenders come at you differently. They get rebounds. They do all the little things, which would make them a lot more formidable. But you gave that up for offense in regard to James Harden. So now you got to live with that, and you made your bed, you got to lie in it. And that's the problem with the Clippers. They're trying to be so offensively sound. They're not focused on what really made them better, what really made them unique, which was their defense and all those lengthy defenders that they had before they traded them away for James Harden. And that's what's really affecting Kawhi Leonard too, because now Kawhi is going to have to do a little bit more of the dirty work. And, at times PG is going to have to do it too. And it's gonna their offense is gonna be sacrificed, and you don't want Kawhi and PG's offense sacrificed ever. Neither one of them players. One can't do it without the other, really. I mean, because even if Paul George has a 25, 30-point game, they probably won't win if Kawhi Leonard doesn't have a 25, 30-point game. They both have to be at an elite level for this team to go anywhere. And that's the main point of emphasis. If they're not at an elite level before they, in regard to them going further in the playoffs or being the best team they can be, then it's all for nothing, because James Harden and Russell Westbrook can't be the two focal points on a team that can help you win a championship, obviously. So, I mean, it's tough for the Clippers right now, because Ty Lue is not, using his head. I mean, it's not rocket science, man. All four of them in the lineup can't be. There's no way. You got to leave Russ in the starting lineup with Kawhi and PG, and let James Harden come off the bench and run with the second unit so he can do what he likes to do and play the way he likes to play. You know what I'm saying? That's the way you got to do it. And, with that being said, it's going to be a tough road for the Clippers. It really is. Terrence Mann, as I said before, his growth is being stunted, along with Bones Highland. You got two, skilled young players who can give you a lot of energy, a lot of effort, a lot of things that James Harden can't do. And you're sacrificing their growth and their energy and their gameplay, defense, all that, for a guy who you just want to implement to be, to prove the world wrong, that you can, have all four in the starting lineup and make this work. It's not going to work that way. And like I said, it's affecting your best player, Kawhi Leonard, because, like I said, Kawhi shouldn't be standing around in no corner waiting for shots and waiting for an opportunity. Damn that. He has to be the one to be in the forefront along with PG. It's basically 1A, 1B. You know what I'm saying? That's the way it is. And like I said, this Clipper team is not going to win a championship if they don't have Kawhi at his best. They're just not going to do it. I don't care about Paul George. I don't give a damn about Russ, any one of them, in regards to championships, because they're not championship caliber players. Kawhi is the only championship caliber player. So you have to run your offense through him. He has to be a focal point on this offense. And you're going to have to find guys to come in and do those little things that Nico Batum and Rocco was doing whenever he got playing time, along with Marcus Morris doing those little things, diving at the loose balls, being a pretty good solid defender, switching, rotating, on the opposing team's best player, take Kawhi off him some, take PG off the best player some, so they can have energy enough to score. That's just the way it is. You know what I'm saying? And if Ty Lue doesn't do that, this team is not going to win no championship. I can tell you that now, because like I said, you can't depend on three guys, Paul George, Harden, and Westbrook, to help you win a championship, because they don't have championship DNA in them. That's the reason why they never won one, because it's not in their game. Their game is to put up stats and go to all-star games. That's what those three players can do very, very well. But what separates Kawhi from them is he can go to an all-star game if he chooses to. If he chooses to really play a whole season and, have his moments, and if he gets the ball how he likes it, he can score with the best of them. But he's about winning championships. And with that being said, there's no reason why he should not be a focal part of the offense. And even if Kawhi is kind of slow to start the season. That's fine. You still run your offense through Kawhi Leonard because, like I said, Kawhi is a willing passer. Kawhi understands championship basketball, and he learned from one of the best coaches ever to coach this game in the NBA, in Greg Popovich. So, I mean, I don't know what we're talking about. He has to have the ball. He has to be your focal point. He's first. Everybody else eats second. If it's not that way, I promise you, Clippers fans, it won't be a championship because the whole operation is because of Kawhi. There would be no PG. There would be no James Harden, no Russ. There would be none of them without Kawhi Leonard. This team wouldn't even be a contender without Kawhi Leonard's name attached to it. So, I mean, let's pump the brakes on, I've been seeing some comments and some people saying that, Kawhi is not looking the same. Give him time because, like I said, he hasn't played every single game in a season in years. So his body is not used to it. His body is used to load managing, being off 2-3 games, coming back after the second or third game, not playing back-to-backs. And, his body's not used to that. So he has to get used to being in that fluid motion of doing that. That's the reason why he's starting off kind of slow this season. And he has to kind of get his grounding. He has to, get grounded with it more mentally. And that's just the way it goes. And plus, like I said, his knee, he got his knee cleaned up in the offseason. I think everything is fine with Kawhi Leonard. I really do. But also a part of the problem, as I said, I think it's just the spacing on the floor. This floor is cluttered. And, James Harden is really good with pick and rolls with a big man, but he's not really good playing with like other superstar players. Because if that's the case, how many superstars players he played with and never won a championship? See, that's the biggest adjustment that the Clippers going to have. You got the ball in the hands of somebody who really, like I said, he doesn't really play well with other superstars. I mean, obviously, he plays good enough with them to be formidable, but he doesn't play well enough to win a championship with them. So you got the ball in somebody's hands who really is a ball dominant guy and who really likes to shoot, who really likes to step back and shoot jumpers. Yeah, he can pass. He can do that. But that's really with a 7-footer, a big man, and Joel Embiid like he had with the Sixers. He's not like, he's not like the type passer that, somebody like Tyrese Halliburton is, or somebody like that, who really thrives off assists and will score when they need to. I mean, he can do that, but I don't know if James Harden will do that. You see what I'm saying? Consistently. So, I mean, it's going to be a tough ride for this team. And hopefully, everybody gets going. Hopefully they find a way to get their first victory tonight. But it's still going to be tough going forward. And as I said before, without Kawhi Leonard in the mix, you can count this team out because nobody believes in this team if Kawhi Leonard's not right. And that's just a fact. But hey, that's my take on everything. Leave any comments and we'll talk about it.